So everyone, it's time for what we all have been waiting for with this new announcement. It's of course the review. How good are the Amane sisters swimsuit version? Jesus Christ. And we do need to of course look into their stats, but right away we do need to also mention that they are a heal type, meaning that even if their stats aren't that great, apparently they're supposed to be able to heal really well. So what counts is going to be how well they can heal. But right off the bat, we also see something really important, is that I often go on about how heal types and supports and all of that stuff, they should all be Excel Gorillas, that would be the best. And they are indeed Excel Gorillas, so that is really, really good. Right off the bat, they have a great disc set. So that's something to keep in mind. And they're also water type, which, I mean, if you're playing this in PvP, you're gonna have to basically dodge every single forest type, because they're gonna get absolutely smashed to bits by every single forest type. But apart from that, I mean, it's an alright type to have. You get to bully some fire types and be neutral to most other people. For PvE though, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. It's just that if you really want to bring them as a healer on a node that has many forest types, just watch out for that, but nothing too special. Now, as I mentioned, all the stats, they don't look that great. Attack is somewhat average. Defense is a bit less than average. About 8,000 is usually what I would say average. HP 24,000 is also pretty average. So stats are either average or below average. But as I mentioned, it's heal type, so whatever. Doesn't matter. As long as the heal is pretty good, as long as the Magia is really good, the Doppel maybe is really good, maybe then they can do some really cool stuff and they don't need to worry too much about their stats. And I mean, they are an Excel Gorilla, meaning that they can just pump out a lot of Excel combos, hopefully. And of course, Excel combos help everyone equally, no matter what their stats are. Like, even if they had like one attack, if you get an Excel combo, everyone gets 20 MP. So you're already really, really useful, even outside of your stats. So we take a look at all of their stuff down here. They actually get really good Excel bonus, I mean, as you would expect from them being an Excel Gorilla. But more importantly, we look at their Connect, which is rather interesting. By the way, I've skipped the personal, but I will get back to it, don't worry about it. But the thing I need to mention about the Connect is, I've mentioned this already in my news segment, is that the Connect is basically somewhat of a jumbled version of both of their Connects, or at least parts of both of their Connects. So for example, we have the MP Restore, we have Tsukasa right here. Tsukasa does indeed get the MP Restore. If you watch the other video, you already know this. So this is part of the Connect. And we look at Tsukuyo's Connect. What does Tsukuyo's Connect give? It gives critical hit and a bunch of other stuff. So we do see that they have the MP Restore, they have the critical hit, but they do get something new, which is that they get to remove debuffs as well. So this Connect is looking really, really good. Easily better than either Tsukasa's or Tsukuyo's Connect. So yeah, we're looking really, really nice with the Connect. But let's leave aside the comparison to the individual parts. Let's just compare this, or just in general talk about how well this does for healing, how well this does for in general being a support. And you already know this doesn't actually heal at all. They're a heal type that doesn't actually heal on a Connect, which I guess is kind of weird. But they're a heal type because of something else. But at least with just the Connect, it seems they're more so focused on restoring MP, maybe having a little bit of utility. This to me looks more like a support Connect, like a pure support Connect, and support is indeed a type that is available. At least I think so. We can take a look at the type chart again, but yeah, there is indeed a support type right here, which does actually have better rates for attacking MP compared to heal. Not that it really matters. They also have crit, and there is something that you should note about crit in this sort of situation is, like I said, they are more supporty, maybe more Magia type. They are Excel Gorilla, that you play them in a Magia team. And if you play them in a Magia team, what does crit do? Magias and Doppels cannot crit. That sucks. So the crit is actually kind of misplaced here. If this was anything else that also increased damage, like attack up, damage up, Magia up maybe, that would be way better. Because if you're using an Excel team, maybe your individual Excels aren't going to deal that much damage. Maybe you're not getting that many Puella combos because you're focusing on getting Excel combos. And if you get an Excel combo instead of a Puella combo, you're not actually dealing that much damage. So getting a crit on those Excel lists is not going to do that much damage, which kind of sucks. And you definitely wouldn't play them on a Blast team, because only giving crit to a blast character is not going to do that much compared to all of these other connects that are out there that give attack up, that give blast up, attack up, and crit. Some do even do both of that. That's really awesome. So you would play them on a Magia team, but on a Magia team, since Magia double can't crit, the crit is kind of misplaced, it kind of sucks. But at least the MP restore is nice, and the remove debuffs part can at least be, in some situations, rather interesting, but for the most part won't actually do that much. Like them on most quests, this will do absolutely nothing. So sadly, in a lot of situations, this is really just a little bit of a damage boost where it doesn't matter, and some MP, and the MP is kind of the star here, I guess. But even though it kind of combines two connects and is better than both of those connects, it's still bad. And that's kind of surprising, actually. But I think it actually goes more to show on how terrible Takasa's and Takuya's connects are, actually. But this one is also pretty bad. However, we do need to talk about the personal, and the personal is similarly to most other personals out there, extremely situational. It's like, yeah, you've already seen this coming with other personals. Yeah, if you're on a quest that has like a lot of darkness being used against you, a lot of dazzle being used against you, then yeah, this is really good, and maybe something you want to have like lying around somewhere. If you don't have any other super awesome Memoria, like if you have 2 attack up or damage up Memoria, whatever, probably you want to use those instead. But I guess this is a really good Memoria just to have lying around in that case, just in case there is an EX quest where maybe they spam Dazzle every turn, and that kind of sucks because Dazzle is actually a really powerful effect, one of the best status elements out there, so being able to immune that is really, really good. But I mean, this is a personal, you have to use this on the Amane sisters. Why aren't personal just in general better and not so situational all the time? Well, I guess if you're wondering about personal that is just good always, you look at the Yosuru personal, but that one is just way too broken and way too overpowered. So maybe it's good that personals are a bit more situational, so we don't get more personals like Yosuru personal. So far, they don't look too great. They don't have on-demand heals that easily, even though it's supposed to be a heal type, which already makes their healing capacity not that great. The stats aren't too great, but hey, at least they're an Excel Gorilla, so it's a bit of a mixed bag so far. But if their Magia is really good, that could make them a really good character. So how good is their Magia? Because this is basically what it comes down to now. Everything comes down to their Magia. And we look at their Magia, the damage for some reason is weak. Like I said, like 360 or 370% is usually what you have. And I know it's a very small difference, but it's still interesting that there's a difference to begin with. Why does it do reduced damage? But more importantly, and this is basically what you play them for in general, is you have the heal right here. This is why they're called a heal character, is because their Magia gives everyone a regen, and at Magia level 5, it will be, what is it, like a 14%? No, not 14%. 40% the double that it gives. It's a 12% regeneration on everyone. That's really good. So every single turn your characters are, if once you use this for 3 turns, every single character is going to regenerate 12% of their maximum HP, which is of course 36% of the maximum HP across 3 turns. You can stack this, which is also really good. There are not many sources of regenerate HP. There's Madokami, who passively has it. I can put it on here, where you can get HP from. Some connects give it, but only a little bit. I mean, of course, you would expect it only to be a little bit, because otherwise it would be too strong. But you would have, for example, if you use this on team with a Madokami, you would go from 12% to 15% HP per turn, which over those 3 turns would be a 45% heal. That sounds pretty good. It's not Spirit Hunter, we don't care about that. Some Magia give it, some to self, some to allies. Also, for example, Ren's only gives 4%, which is basically nothing. I don't even know why it's that little. Some Memoria give it, but a lot of these Memoria don't really have other good effects. Like, for example, Bygone Time just has that and 12.5% Magia damage up, which is not a whole lot. It's almost nothing. Basically, any single other damage effect is way better than this. So regenerate HP, there are a few sources that give it, but not many really good sources. This is usually, this is kind of effect that just happens sometimes when you're not looking, like, oh, this Magia gives HP regen, I didn't even know that. Did you guys know that this gives HP regen? No, I didn't know that. Did you guys know that this Memoria gives HP regen? I did, but I never use it because it's terrible. So the question is how good actually is it to regenerate HP that much? If we think about 45% of someone's HP, let's say for example someone has 30,000. I can do a quick math, for example. Let's go with the 36% that you would regenerate over these 3 turns. So we would, for example, have someone with 30,000 HP, and you would give them a regen for this 36%. They would regen about 10,800 HP, and with Madokami on the team, they would regen a whopping 13,500 HP. So this is basically the heal that they do over 3 turns if they get their Magia off on average. Now the question that I want to ask you guys is how good that actually is. In order to figure out how good it is, we're going to compare this 36 or 45% if you have Madokami on the team, to other healers out there. So for example, right here we have Madoka, very important healer on the team, has as a connect 47.5%. Iroha right here has as a connect once again 47.5%, and that's instant. With the Mizugi twins you have to wait 3 turns for a lesser heal. That sounds terrible. So that already sounds really, really bad. You have to wait 3 turns for it to come fully into effect, and over that 3 turns it heals less than a direct heal on a connect that you're probably going to have available more readily than a Magia. Like, you might have like 1 Magia every 4 or 5 turns or whatever. You might have a connect every 2 or 3 turns depending on how many characters you have around. So it already doesn't look too great, but as I mentioned, regenerate HP can be stacked. So if you had a team that was able to spam this Magia a lot, and you would be able to stack it up, then maybe you would have, if you can stack it up to 2 most of the time, then you would have a 16%, not even 16, 24% HP heal per turn. That sounds pretty good. With Madokami, that would be like 27% each turn. At that point, it actually does sound really good, but it does require multiple Magia uses. And don't forget that healing can be completely nullified by enemies that use at least level 2 status ailments. Actually, is it level 2? No, level 3 status ailments. So Bind, Dazzle, and Curse. Bind, Dazzle, Curse. These 3 will completely halt all heals. So characters that are afflicted by that cannot receive any healing, including from regenerate HP. So that also kind of puts a damper on that. But that's actually makes it even more important for you to have an ultimate Madoka on the team, so that you can resist those status ailments. And as you already see right here, this thing also gives status ailment resistance itself, 30% to all allies. So it basically makes sure that you, especially together with Ultimate Madoka, that you're going to keep those ailments away that would make it so you can't heal. And during that, you get your regenerate HP ticking each turn. That's really good. So they do play a very specific role, Keep ailments away, and while we're keeping ailments away, we're going to slowly take ourselves back up. But this also means that you have to play them probably with other characters that have Magia that give some sort of defensive stuff, like play them together with a Madoka who, as a Magia, also gives damage cut and also MP restore, so you can spam this. So this is actually a really good team. Madoka and the sisters together have a lot of field potential. You get the MP restore and damage cut from Madoka, and you make it with the status ailment resistance that ailments can't screw you over. So both of these together are actually really, really good for a stall team. Also got plenty of Excel discs to go around, so you can keep pumping out Excels. That's really, really good. And of course the double does even more than that, but not a whole lot more than that. It's mostly for damage that you reduce the double Dum D. It actually does combine both of their doubles. In case you don't know, both of their doubles, I can actually show this, I have the page open, are just 1/2 of this orb, and it actually is really cool to see both of them together. So that's basically all I want to talk about with the Amane twins in terms of gameplay, in that, yeah, they are very situational, they're very niche for very specific Magia teams that want to stall really hard, and if you can stall really hard, they allow you to control the fight with repeated heals per turn and also with status ailment resistance. And in that, they play a sort of role that if you can get them rolling, if you can get them have like 2 Magia up, 2 stacks of their Magia effects up at every single point in time, that's really darn amazing and will make you roll over most quests. But you have to get there. You have to actually get to the point where you have 2 of their Magias up at like 1 turn after another. So you have these 2 effects up at the same time twice, and then it's really good. There's something I want to talk about though, something else. First off, their, where is it? they have their, I don't know where it is, the transformation. I'm going to show it right here, but their transformation is one of the best transformations in the entire game. Both the animation and the music, straight up fucking bopping, dude. So definitely check the animation out and the Magia, because did you guys know that this right here, the name for the Magia, basically translates to Crescent Banana Boat? Watch their animations, they're really, really good. They have some of the best animations in the entire game. And also something to note is, with pretty much every single other duo character that's going to release from this point onwards, is you can actually have a costume for them. I think they just come with it, or maybe you have to play their Magical Girl story for it, but you just get their costumes for them just being solo. So if you don't want both of them at the same time on your home screen, for example, maybe you like one of them better, Tsukuyo, and you just want to have just that character, Tsukuyo, on your home screen instead of the one that you dislike instead, Tsukasa, then you could just have as a costume just that character solo on your home screen. And that's something you can do if you just want to see the better one, Tsukuyo, on your home screen instead. But that's just something, and I think they actually have different lines. I don't know if it shows up in here. Yeah, you can see that they have quotes for being together, and they have quotes for just both of them being alone. That's actually really interesting. Like, a lot of work has gone into this, and I really like that instead. You can tell that there's a lot of work that has gone into this with just their animations, with their transformation, with the music and the transformation, with the costume stuff, the quotes and all of that. I really like how much work has gone in there. Sadly, as a character, like I said, in these situations where you can get them rolling, they're phenomenal, they're fantastic, they're amazing. But you have to get them rolling first by using multiple Magias in a turn, and if you can't get there, they're terrible. I'm sorry, but like 90% of the time they're terrible, 10% of the time, fucking amazing. Kind of sucks, but keep all of that in mind. Now, of course, I have spent a lot of time talking about this already, but I'm going to go over the other Memoria very quickly. After this, we first have Dive Into Summer, Tsukuyo, and Tsukasa. Also, once again, I'm going to keep mentioning this every single video. Don't roll specifically for Memoria. If you don't care for the character, don't roll for Memoria. Don't do it, guys. You're throwing away your stones. The rates for these Memorias are way too bad for it to be worth it, and there's no pity. So don't roll just for Memoria. But if you are rolling for this character, like these characters, I guess, and you pick up these Memoria on the way, you need to know how good they are, and this one is pretty good. It looks weird because it just has attack up, but it has a maximum break, attack up 25%. That already makes it one of the better Memoria, if not one of the best Memoria in the game, because attack up is just that amazing, and every source of attack up is really, really good. It's not quite the highest tier, because a lot of other Memoria that give attack up also have some really other nice effect on there. For example, Friends gives 20% attack up and crit, Cubane Knight gives 25% and charge damage up, which basically is blast damage up. So that's really, really good. But at least you get here get more attack up than most other Memoria. 25% is actually the exact same that Cubane Knight has. I think I've already mentioned this. But also you have the 2200 attack just as a stat, which is really, really good. So yeah, this one's actually really, really good. However, because it's limited to this gacha, you're not going to see this, probably, and you're not going to get a maximum break, so that kind of sucks. It's a whale Memoria. Sorry, guys. This one, Dive Into Summer, Ayami for you, it's also pretty good. If you want that one turn where you just blow someone up with blast, this is really, really good. Gives 40% blast damage up and critical hit. It's only 30%, which kind of sucks. So if you use this on someone that already has I Made Friends, their crit chance goes from 25% to 30%. Basically, does nothing. But if you use someone who doesn't have friends, someone who's very lonely, Homoda for example, then this would be really good to give them the crit chance and the blast on top of that. Next up, we also have Dive Into Summer Toka Nemu, which is decent. It's decent, but the thing is, if you want a defensive Memoria, there's already one that is readily available for everyone that is just better. It gives 50% damage cut, which arguably is worse than 22.5% defense up. However, because this one's a 4-star, it just has better stats. It gives more attack, more HP compared to this. So just because it's 4-star, me times 4 is probably already better. Or they're totally 4 for me. And of course, you also get the defense up while at max health, making this really, really nice in that situation as well. So yeah, overall, once again, to put this all into one coherent narrative, one coherent TLDR, TLDW even, they're really, really good if you can get them rolling with using multiple Magia in a turn, which they can support by having 3 Exeldis and by using MP Restores on other characters as well. And once you get them rolling with using multiple Magia one after another each turn, hopefully, they are really, really amazing because stacking their effects is really darn amazing. But if you can't get there or fights end before then they're not really good at all. So, but they're really, really cute. Watch their transformation anyway, watch their Magia animation, watch all of those things because there's a lot of effort put into those. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. See you guys next time.